Okay, hi everybody. Welcome back to another live stream with our books. We've been going back and forth between Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners and the grammar book. In today's live stream, I'm planning on continuing with this book here. So in this book, we basically take what you know about Korean and we put it into practice, and we make sentences about ourselves, about our own lives in Korean. And we've done 2 chapters in previous live streams. We've done chapter 1, which was 무슨 일을 하세요, which means what do you do for work. And we've also done chapter 2, which is 어떤 계절을 가장 좋아하세요, which means what's your favorite season. So we've done those 2 chapters already. If you'd like to go back and watch them, they are up on YouTube. There's a link in our bio to YouTube. And today we're going to look at chapter 3, question 3, which is 취미가 뭐예요? Which is, what are your hobbies? So today we're going to be talking about 취미, which is hobbies in Korean. So we're going to be practicing making our own sentences about hobbies and reading some example sentences about hobbies, using our vocab, using our grammar. And we're going to be making them together. Hi, Katarina. 안녕하세요. Nice to see you again. Okay. So today, question 3. We are on page 33 of this book right here, which is Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners. So this is the title page that we have right here. 취미가 뭐예요? 취미 is hobby. This is hobbies. And 가 is our subject particle. It's a subject particle. And then we have 뭐, which is what. 뭐예요 is what is it. When you combine the present tense, the simple present tense, to 뭐, it becomes 뭐예요, which is what are your hobbies in Korean. So, let's look at the first page. On this page, we have an example answer. And, I'm trying to hide the answer page. I actually forgot to make a new one of these. So just ignore this. This is from a different TikTok video that I was making this morning. Question, does Korean use SVO? No. SVO, that is the English structure, subject, verb, object. Korean uses the SOV structure, subject, object, verb. So in Korean, the verb comes at the end of the sentence. Interesting note, actually, the SOV structure, like Korean has, is actually more common worldwide with other languages. So it's actually... English is the less common structure. Can I screenshot this book, please? Yes, you can. It is called Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners. You can take a screenshot of that picture, that cover, and find it yourself later. Okay. So, yeah, sure, no worries. So let's look at this first sentence. 제 취미는 독서예요. Okay, so what is this going on here? 제 취미는 독서예요. Kate is asking, what's the difference between 는 and 이가? I'm not going to talk about that right now, but we do actually have a video pinned at the top of our profile on TikTok, and you can go and watch that, and that'll tell you a little bit more about the topic and subject particles. Okay, so 제 취미는, this is my hobbies. 제 is my in Korean. And does anyone know what 독서 is in Korean? Does anyone recognize this word right here? 독서. It's a word you might not have encountered, but it's a very common hobby. It's certainly my hobby. My hobby is definitely tokso. And other people watching might also have this hobby as well. Read, Iramuk, thank you. So Korean has I'm not sure if you can read this. Let me zoom in a little bit. So Korean does have a verb, 읽다, to read, which you probably know. But it also has a noun, tokso, which means the hobby of reading. So the actual habit of reading or the enjoyment of reading, you can say tokso. And we're using the present tense of a noun form of tokso. And tokso is a noun. And when you have a noun in present tense, you attach ieo or yeo, depending on if the noun ends on a consonant or a vowel. And because tokso ends on a vowel, you attach yeo. And becomes, it is tokso. Once upon a Kiwi, I didn't know it had a noun. Yeah, it's a useful little noun to know. Because this book is called Conversational. Oh, this is not Conversational Korean Grammar. I need to make a different one of these pages. Let me just quickly. This book is called Writing Conversational Korean. Oh, excuse my poor handwriting. I'm trying to write this quickly. Usually I prepare these in advance, but I forgot today. This book is called Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners. Who creates the Korean writing? That's me. I do that, but I also do this as well. I'm a very beginner and wanted to know out of all of your books, which one is best for me? If you're a very beginner, I recommend the grammar book, which is not this book. The grammar book is this one. And I also do live streams talking about this. But in the grammar book, we spend more time kind of going back to the very beginning. We talk through the very key foundations of Korean and Korean grammar. So I recommend checking out the grammar book. Question, when do you go live? I try to do sometime during the week and sometime on the weekends, but I don't have a set schedule. What are your plans for advanced books? When can we expect them? We have just published our first advanced book, and that is Writing Conversational Korean Book 3. So if you're looking for an advanced book, we do have one now. It was just published like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And that book has no English in it whatsoever, but it has the same structure as our Writing Conversational Korean Advanced and Intermediate series. If you're not familiar with that, you can go and check them out on our website. 취미가 뭐예요? Yeah, what are your hobbies? 제 취미는 독서예요. My hobby is reading. My hobby is reading books. Okay, what about this next sentence? What are we saying here? Does anyone know what 매일 is? I'm just going to add some more notes here. Anyone know what 매일? Thank you, Soan. Every day. 매일 is every day. I see a couple people have that, so good job. What about this word? This word is actually originally an English word that's been adopted into Korean. But does anyone recognize this word? 판타지. 판타지. Fantasy. Nissaps. Beautiful. This is fantasy. And that might help you know what this word is. 소설. 소설. It might help to, if you see it before fantasy, you might figure out what 소설 is, especially since we're talking about 독서. This probably becomes clear what a 소설 is. Does anyone know? Ooh, Nisabet's genre. That's a very good guess. It's, yeah, novel. Kate Lillian, beautiful. Novel. Novel, story, book, things like that. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, and now here we have 읽다, which is just to read. 읽다. So, 매일 판타지 소설을 읽어요. Every day, fantasy novels I read. So I read fantasy novels every day. Okay, that's our second sentence that we've said. What about this last sentence? So this is a bit of a long sentence, so we'll break it up into two parts. First, we'll just talk about this first part right here. So, 그리고. You might be familiar with this word. Anyone know what 그리고 means in Korean? 그리고 means and. Thank you, 아직사. And specifically, 그리고 is only used to start a sentence. If you're starting a sentence with and, you can use 그리고. If you are joining sentences together, you would use a different form. 카타리나는 한국어로 어떻게 생각해요? 저는 굉장히 네, 아주 재미있는 언어예요. 어렵지만 신기하고 재미있는 것 같아요. Okay. 한국어를 공부하는 것도 좋아하고. Okay. So what is going on here? So we've talked about reading fantasy books. Now we're talking about something else. What are we talking about in this sentence? Do you have a YouTube channel? Yes, we do. You can follow it into our bio, and I post these recordings on YouTube afterwards, so you can go back and watch them again. Studying Korean. I see people, yes, beautiful. 한국어를 공부하다 is to study Korean. So 한국어 is Korean. This is our object particle. Our object particle, because 공부하다 is an action verb. To study is an active action, so you use the object particle for your noun. If you said 한국어가 공부해요, you would be saying that the Korean is studying, which is incorrect, right? You study Korean, so you have to use the object particle. And now thank you for buying our book, by the way. Thank you, I really appreciate that. So 공부하다 is to study, and 한국어를 공부하다 is to study Korean. Now we have actually two grammar forms combined here. Thank you for the roses, crazy. That's amazing. Thank you so much. So 는것 is a very important grammar form that we are going to practice actually in this chapter. But basically, 는것 is adding ing to verbs. This is basically how you turn verbs. You add ing to verbs. So like eat becomes eating, study becomes studying, cook becomes cooking. Yeah, and affixing. Beautiful. That's exactly what this does. So 는것 is how they do this in Korean. And we'll practice this more a little bit ahead. But remember that for later. And now we have 더. 더 means, anyone know what 더 is? Haziz says how to buy this book. Check out bookstores, Amazon, Book Depository, Barnes & Noble. Also, too. Yes. Thank you very much, everybody. That's perfect. Also or to. In English, it's a word, but in Korean, it's actually a grammar form. And you just stick it onto whatever noun that you want to say also this noun. And 좋아하다, and probably most people here know what 좋아하다 means. It means to like something. Okay. So 그리고 한국어를 공부하는 것도 좋아하고, and I also like studying Korean. Is the Advanced Writing Conversational Korean book not? Oh, yes, that one is not actually on Book Depository yet. It should be soon, but it might take a little while because it's like brand new. So maybe check back in a couple weeks. It should be there. So I also like studying Korean, and this core here is actually a very similar call to this one here, but this one is being used to start a sentence, and this one is being used to join as two sentences together. So this one here, let me zoom out now because we have to see a little bit more. Okay, so we have joined two clauses together. We've looked at this first clause, which says, I also like studying Korean, and I'm also adding something else just to make this sentence even more developed. Zoom, please. Oh, okay, all right. Zoom back in to 요리도 좋아해요. All right. This 좋아하고 can be as well. 도비엔시, beautiful. Also like cooking. That's exactly what this is saying. 요리 is cook or cooking. And 도, again, is the same also. Daniel's Walker, perfectly. Cooking too, 요리 도, also cooking, I like. So overall, we've said a whole bunch of things. We've said, my hobby is reading. I read fantasy books every day, and I like studying Korean, and I also like cooking. So all in all, we've used some fairly sort of simple grammar to build out quite a well-developed little paragraph in Korean. Thank you, Kate Lillian. That's amazing. Thank you so much. All right. So this overall is something like this. Now, if you do buy this book, we have a breakdown here at the bottom. We've kind of already gone through this together in the live stream. But this has the vocab and the grammar that was used in the sentence above. And a fix. The ko in 좋아하고 can also be and or also. Yeah, it can be either depending on the sentence. You can be saying, I like X and Y, but you could also say I like X and also Y. Both are fairly equivalent sentences. The title of the book is Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners. And how much is it? Well, depends where you are. There are PDFs on our website for $15, 15 US dollars. The paperback book, so like this, is sort of base price of $35, but it might be more depending on where you are in the world. Italy does have Amazon, so you can find it on Amazon and they'll ship it to you for free from Amazon. I cannot find your YouTube account. Please help. Check the link in our bio. I have a link to it in our bio on our page. Okay. Flip it over. There's an ISBN number. Okay. You can screenshot this ISBN if you would like. If you're having trouble finding it, you can use that ISBN number. I'm for sure going to buy it. Thank you so much. That's amazing. I really appreciate that. And I hope you like it. Okay. So let's look a little bit more. We're going to look at some example sentences and practice breaking them down a little bit. I'll read them out. So this one here says 매일 조금씩 그림을 그려요. 몇 시예요? It is 6:30 in Houston right now. All right. 매일 조금씩 그림을 그려요. So all of these sentences here are to do with hobbies because we're talking about the hobby chapter of 취미가 뭐예요? What are your hobbies? So this one is saying 매일 조금씩 그림을 그려요. 매일, again, every day. 조금씩 is a useful little word that means a little bit. So a little bit. 그림 is drawing or picture. And you can sort of see this as like a sort of a set word. 그림을 그려요. To draw pictures or just to draw. So this means I draw a little bit every day. Maybe you're a painter, maybe you like to paint or draw. This kurimo kurida could be painting or drawing, either one. And 영화를 자주 봐요. 봐요. 영화 is movie. 자주 is to see or watch. And 자주 is, sorry, I might have said that wrong. I was doing two things at once. 영화 is movie, 자주 is often, and 봐요 is watch. So I watch movies often. Okay, so let's have a look together at this one. Okay. 운동을 하는 것은 건강에 좋아요. What does this sentence mean in Korean? First off, we have 운동. Does anyone know what 운동 is in Korean? Rian says, I have seen 조금 but not 조금씩. Is there any difference? Kind of. 조금 is kind of just a little bit. 조금씩 has that extra feeling of like bit by bit, you know, a little bit at a time. And I see everyone saying 운동 is exercise. Beautiful, perfect. 운동 is exercise. So for all the folks out there that have exercise as a hobby, you can say something like this. 운동을 하는 것은. Again, we have our 는것 form. So here we have 는것 again. 는것, I'm going to talk a little bit more about 는것. So how does 는것 work? Think about a sentence in English. If you say to someone, you can't say, for example, like eat, right? In English, this is an incorrect expression, right? You can't say that. You can say it and people will understand you, but it's not correct grammar, right? You have to say, I like eat. Let me use a different pencil. I like eating, right? That's correct. This is the same in Korean. You also need to do this in Korean with 는것. So what is the verb to eat in Korean? Anyone know what the verb is to eat in Korean? 한국어를 너무 좋아해요. Great sentence. You love Korean. Oh, you said 한국어. Just a typo. But yeah, you love Korean. 먹다, thank you. So eat is 먹다, right? And to attach 는것, you take off 다 and you add 는것. This is eating. 먹는 것 is eating. So just like this, now we have the same expression. 먹는 것 is eating. And this is a noun. This 먹는 것 is actually a noun. You've turned this verb 먹다 into a noun using 는것. And when you have a noun, you can act in it or describe it just like any other noun. You can say, for example, 먹는 것을 좋아해요. I'm using because 좋아하다 is an action verb. Whenever you have an action verb, you attach the object particle to the noun. So here is our noun, here is our particle, and here is our verb. Remember, verbs in Korean come at the end of the sentence. So this means, I like eating. This means, 먹는 것을 좋아해요 means, I like eating. So this is what 는것 does in Korean. So let's go back to this sentence here. Now, this is a little bit trickier because 운동하다 is a compound 하다 verb. And 운동 by itself is also already a noun. 운동 is a noun that means exercise. 운동을 하다 is to do exercise. So with a sentence like this, you actually do kind of have two choices. You can either say 운동을 좋아해요 or 운동을 하는 것은 좋아해요. It's basically the same sentence, but in this case, I've used 는것 to talk about, exercising as a whole like this. 운동을 하는 것은, this is the topic particle. 하는 것은, as for exercising, as for working out, 건강에 좋아요. Anyone know what 건강 is in Korean? 건강. It's a very useful word. Health, perfect, yes. 건강 is health. I have to write pretty small, but. And this 좋아요, as just kind of a little sort of set expression, is like good for. It's good to health. It's good for health. 좋아요 is it's good, it's nice, it's great. So exercising is good for your health. Exercising is good for your health. All right. So let's look at, let's practice 는것 some more. There are some other sentences here, but let's have a look at 는것 some more and do some practice. Okay. 운동을 같이 하는 것을 좋아해요. You like exercising with other people. Yeah, cool. 노래를 하는 것을 좋아해요. Shakid is asking, do you like to sing? Do you like singing? 저는 노래를 하는 것을 좋아하지 않아요. I don't like to sing. 저는 잘 못해요. I can't do it very well. That's true. I enjoy singing. I'm just not very good at it. But that was a perfect sentence. Thank you, Shade. Okay. So let's do some grammar practice using 는것. And we talked about it before. It's basically the plus ing grammar form. So anytime you take a verb and you attach ing to it, it becomes verb-ing. Katarina, good to health는 왜 안 되나요? I'm not sure what you mean. But, so this is the 는것 form you attach, which means ing adding to verbs. So let's look at some practice problems together. So this first one is reading often is important. And now we have two vocabulary words to get us started. We have 읽다, however you say this, and 중요하다, important. 읽다 and 중요하다. 읽다 to read and 중요하다 to be important. So how do we say this? Now we have the word reading. And see that we have ing, right? This is our ing, which was where we need to use our 는것. So what is the verb to read? We have it right here, right? So we take ik, our little verb stem, and we attach 는것. This is reading. And just so you know, it is shortened a lot in conversation. This is the written form. In speaking, it's often just pronounced 는거, just to make it a little bit easier. There's some other forms as well, but we're writing, so we'll just use the full form of 읽는 것. And then notice how this, when it's pronounced, this is pronounced 읽는. So this whole thing here just becomes a ning sound when you're pronouncing. 읽는. Okay. So what do we say next? Reading often. Does anyone know the word for often in Korean? 가끔 읽는 것은 중요하다? 중요해요? Yeah, I'd say reading sometimes is important. 자주, beautiful. And then actually, I'm going to put 자주 here before 읽는 것, because the thing that we're doing often is reading, right? So we kind of want the 자주 to come before reading so that you know what it is that you're doing often. 독서, why isn't it used in this sentence? Actually, you could definitely use 독서 in this sentence. The only reason it's not used is just because we gave you 읽다 to read, because we're making you do the 는것 form. But you could absolutely use 독서 if you wanted as well. 자주. So 자주 is often, and 자주 읽는 것 is reading often. Okay. Now we have 중요하다, which is a descriptive verb. This book's title is Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners. So because 중요하다 is a descriptive verb, what particle do you need to write here? What particle do you need to put? Sorry, that's my dog. One second. Bondigi, what are you doing? He wants into my room. Okay. Bondigi, hi. Yeah, I know you're here. He has made it in the room. Okay. Okay, so we were talking about what particle to put here. Book's title is Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners. Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the roses. That's amazing. Don't worry, he's in here now. And of course now he wants to leave, obviously. And it's available through most booksellers. Try Amazon, Barnes & Noble, the Book Depository. 읽는 것이. Okay, how often? It's opening, you can leave. Yeah, you can go. Go on. All right. So because 중요하다, 중요하다 is a descriptive verb, I'm going to use either 은 or 이. Here I'm going to use 은. Because I'm talking about reading as sort of the topic of my sentence, 이 is also fine. You can use either 이 or 은. 자주 읽는 것은 or 자주 읽는 것이 중요해요. How many months would you say someone needs to learn very good Korean, almost fluent? Months? I mean, I would be thinking years, honestly. If you're very diligent and you study very regularly, you could get it in, less than a year. But Korean's a very difficult language, especially if you're a native English speaker. So I would say you're thinking, 3, 4, 5 years plus, probably. But it obviously depends on the individual too. No one person's journey is the same. And everyone takes different paths and takes different amounts of time. This book is called Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners. Okay. So what about this sentence here? You don't use why? You can use either. Both is fine. You can 은 or 이. With a simple sentence like this, to know whether it's 은 or 이, you have to know more about the context of the conversation. And this sentence is just kind of taken out of nowhere, so there's no way of knowing which one you should use. So either really is fine. Just you can pick one. Okay, number 2 says, walking is good for your health. So we actually had a similar sentence to this before. I think it was exercise was good for your health. So now we're using walking. Now again, we have this ing verb. And we've actually given the verb to walk, 걷다. 걷다, to walk. So what is walking? Now that we've practiced using 는것, how would I say walking in Korean? Can anyone put those things together? Apply what they've learned about 는것 and use it with the verb to walk. 걷다, 걷는 것. Beautiful, ruthlessly. Thank you. 걷는 것. 걷는 것. Beautiful. I see a couple people have it. Beautiful. Thank you. So 걷다 is to walk, and you attach 는것 to make walking. Okay. And now let's use, say, the subject particle, because why not? You can use the topic particle if you like. Again, it doesn't hugely matter. The meaning of the sentence is basically the same. All right. What about health? Health we have over here. How do we say something is good for your health? 건강. Do you remember from before? If you were watching previously, 건강해, beautiful. That's the first part we need. Thank you, Danai. 건강해. And then Justic has the verb 좋다. And if we conjugate this into the present tense, what does this become when you conjugate 좋다 into the present tense? It becomes, this is the name of the book, by the way. 건강, did I write? Oh my gosh, she did it. Thank you. 건강. Thank you guys. Yeah, that's a typo. 좋아요. Yeah. 건강에 좋아요. 걷는 것이 걷는 것은 건강에 좋아요. Walking is good for your health. Beautiful. Okay, how about this next one? I like studying Korean. This is a sentence that probably all of us will say at some point in our Korean learning journey. I like studying Korean. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is we're going to say I. So for I, we're just going to say 저는, which means for me. With regards to me, 저 means I or me in Korean, and this 는 is the topic particle. 공부하는 것이 좋아요. Wow, beautiful. That's a perfect once upon a Kiwi. That is a very good sentence. Although we have to use the 좋아하다 verb since that was given to us in the sentence. So your sentence is absolutely correct. But there is one other way that we can write this as well using 을 좋아하다. 저는 한국어를 공부하는 것을 좋아합니다. Beautiful. Noru the dog. That's perfect. So first off, we have Korean, right? 한국어. 한국어 is Korean. And then we have 공부하다. Now we've got to fill in some gaps here. So what particle do I need here to complete this part? 한국어 what? 공부하다. I see people have it already. Actually, yes. It's the 를 particle. Dearest Dan. Perfect. We use the 를 object particle because 공부하다 is an action verb. Always remember, descriptive verbs use 이카 and action verbs use 를. And 는 can kind of go anywhere. 는 does not discriminate. But the object particle is used with action verbs, and the descriptive particle, the subject particle, is used with descriptive verbs. Okay, so now we add our 는 것 because we want to turn study into studying. This book is called Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners. So this studying here is this 공부하는 것. 공부하는 것. And now because 좋아하다 is an action verb. So again, we have another object particle. We have two object particles here. That's fine. Some people worry that they can't use more than one particle in a sentence, but you absolutely can. Just depending on what type of sentence you have. You can have more than one object particle, you can have more than one subject particle, you can have more than one topic particle. E isn't used for these type of sentences. I mean, yeah, okay. If you want to be picky, yeah, sure. I mean, you're talking about things as a topic, so... But there might be situations where you're using, who knows? There could be a situation where you use E. Everyone will understand you either way. So I'm not going to focus on that right now. When do we use descriptive verbs? Descriptive words again. What do we use descriptive words? Descriptive words are things like 좋다. This is a descriptive verb, and 중요하다 is a descriptive verb. This is an action verb, and this is an action verb. 공부하는 것을 좋아해요. 저는 한국어를 공부하는 것을 좋아해요. This means I like studying Korean. Now, this is kind of a long way to say this. You don't really have to say all of this. You could just say, oh, what am I doing? You could just say like, 한국어를 좋아해요. That just means I like Korean. You could even say, 한국어 공부를 좋아해요. These are all basically saying the same thing. It's really kind of up to you what you want to say. This is kind of the more written out way. I like studying Korean. I like the action of studying Korean. This is just I like Korean. And this is like I like Korean study. 공부 is a noun. So you can use this. You can just say you like the noun study. And then you have 한국어 공부. So just to qualify, this is Korean study. So there's always multiple ways to say things in any language. There's not necessarily ever any one set translation. But here we were practicing 눈것, so that's why we used 눈것 up here. Okay. Let's do another example. My book is getting stuck on my desk. I need to make some more space. Excuse me for a second. Okay. This book is, I already have Jasantik already saying it. Amazing. Playing the piano is difficult is the next one. And we have the verbs 피아노를 치다 and we have 어렵다. My writing is really pretty. Thank you. That's nice of you to say so. Now, 어렵다 is a irregular verb. So this verb is a little bit tricky. You might have run into some beep irregular verbs. They're very common with descriptive verbs. Verbs like 덥다, hot, 춥다, cold, 어렵다, hard, 쉽다, easy. Those are all beep irregular verbs. And if you need to practice those, definitely practice them as well because they're really common. But we'll do it a little bit here as well. Okay. So we have playing. Again, we have our ing. So we're going to be using our 눈것 form. And because 피아노를 치다 is the verb to play the piano, how do we say playing the piano? 피아노를 치다 is just the dictionary form of the verb. We can't use this without conjugating it. So we're going to conjugate it into playing. And how would that be? Could you use 기? Yeah. Okay. So you can also use 기. 눈것 and 기 are both ways of doing this ing form. Hyun perfectly. Yeah. 피아노 치는 것을. There's a slight difference, but essentially 기 and 눈것 are essentially the same. But let's put this in. Someone did say it. 피아노를 치는 것. Okay. 피아노를 치는 것. Now, what particle do we use? Remember that we have 어렵다, which is a descriptive verb. So there's two options that we can use for particles. We can use ön는. And what is the other one that we can use for using with 어렵다? Because it's a descriptive verb, we can use ön는, or what's the other particle that we can use? Yes. or 이가. Oh. You can use either of those options. And let's do the topic particle. But you really can use either. And we're not going to talk about really the difference between 은 and 이. But you can use either. 피아노를 치는 것은 or 피아노를 치는 것이 어려. I see some good answers. 어려워요. Okay, yep. I'm just going to do the simple present tense. 어려워요. Now remember this 비읍 verb, this 비읍 irregular verb is a little bit tricky, right? They conjugate some funky ways. Basically what happens with these 비읍 irregular verbs, I'll do a quick breakdown of how this happens. Okay, so you have a 비읍 irregular verb. First thing you do, take away 다. Always the first thing you do, right? In any Korean verb conjugation, you take away 다. Now, this is a 비읍 irregular verb. So the next thing we do, just take away the 비읍. It just goes away. It's just forever gone. Now, next thing you do is you add an 우. Now you add an 우 after 어려. Now you take this and conjugate it into the present tense. Now because we have 우, which is not a or o or ha, we attach 어요, and 우 and 어 combine to 워. That makes a new vowel combination. So this becomes 워요. And you can see it here. 어려워요, 어려워요. Or 어려워 in casual language, or 어렵습니다 in honorific language. These guys are a little bit tricky, and it might take some practice to get used to, but that's essentially how it goes. 나보다 크시제 이쁘네. 잘하기는요. Thank you guys. I'm trying to write neatly, but okay. And now we'll do our last example. Now this one's a little bit tricky because we actually have two parts. We have exercising is one thing, but also something else. So we're actually going to use another grammar form here as well. We're going to be using our Gman grammar form as well as our Nungot grammar forms. We're going to be combining some things together. Okay, let's look at first thing first. Let's look at exercising is difficult. Now exercise, to exercise, we've tried it before, is 운동하다. Okay, so we have 운동하다. How does that become exercising? We've got to use our Nungot form. We've got to attach our Nungot form to 운동하다 in order to make exercising. In order to get this ing on the end, we're going to use our Nungot form. So what does this become? 운동하는 것. Beautiful. Shades of love. Perfect. 운동하는 것 is exercising. And difficult. Difficult, we had it up here, right? Now, this gets an added challenge for you guys. 어렵다 is a 비읍 irregular verb. But this 비읍 irregular conjugation only happens when you're conjugating something that starts with a vowel sound. If you're conjugating something that starts with a consonant sound, this change does not happen. So, for example, when you're speaking in honorific language, you attach 씁니다, right? And 씁니다 starts with a consonant sound, so it becomes 어렵습니다. That it doesn't. The conjugation, the irregular conjugation, does not happen. And it's the same with this one. 지만 starts with a consonant sound, so it stays 어렵지만. Here we were attaching a, or, yo, which is what activates the irregular conjugation because of these vowel sounds. But when you're not sticking on something that starts with a vowel sound, 지만 just starts with a consonant, so it's just 어렵지만. And this book is called Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners. 운동하는 거, oh, we don't have a particle. Let's do un particle again. This book is called Writing Conversational Korean for Beginners. 운동하는 것은 어렵지만. And I'm using the topic particle here sort of intentionally because when you use 지만, you create contrasting sentences. This but creates contrasting sentences, and the topic particle is used for contrasting sentences. Simply Chris. I know. Oh my gosh, there's 300 people. Oh wow, that's a lot of people watching me teach Korean. So thank you all you guys for being here. Wow, okay. And thank you for the roses. Wow. Oh, this is a good day. You guys are amazing. 운동하는 것은 어렵지만. We have our exercising with our 는 것. Our 운동하는 것 is exercising. So many roses. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're so good. You guys are so welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. We have 어렵다, which is to be difficult, but fun. This is our last part that we need to add in here. Our last little bit to add in, but fun. Now we have 지만 already, right? This is our but. Oh my gosh, that's really dark. I did not mean to do that. That says but, by the way. 어렵지만. Does anyone know, actually it's over here, I think. 재미있다. How do we conjugate 재미있다 into the present tense? What does it become when you conjugate 재미있다? Query, yes, 재미있어요. 재미있어요. So now we have a complete sentence. Exercising is difficult but fun. Thank you, Minky Yoon. 운동하는 것은 어렵지만 재미있어요. Exercising is difficult but fun. And I am not Australian, I'm actually a Kiwi. Okay. Any more questions about that while I'm on this page? Explain another example like this. Like this sentence here, sure. Let's do... So I'm basically Australian. I suppose. I'm not Australian, I'm a Kiwi. I'm a New Zealander. Slightly different, you know, different country and all that. Okay, let's do another example like this, but we're using but. Let's say studying Korean is, let's switch it around, is fun but difficult. Okay, so we've got a similar sentence, but we're going to have to switch things around. Studying Korean is fun but different. So first, studying Korean. What is Korean in... Yeah, you're Kiwi, you can tell by your accent. Yes, it's me. How long does this live last? I'll probably be ending it soon, to be honest. A little bit longer, but coming towards the end now. I see someone pop in and said the whole thing, so good job, that looked really good. 한국어, yes. I see people saying 한국어, beautiful. 한국어 is Korean. Now, we use our 를 object particle, right? Because 공부하다 is an action verb. In order to know what particle to use, you have to know what verb you're going to use. You have to kind of be thinking ahead as you're speaking to know what particle you're going to use because you know what verb you're going to use. So, hello. So, 공부하다, to make it studying, becomes what? 한국어로 공부하는 것은. Yeah. I see. Hi, you're beautiful. That was really good. Ash Coxey, beautiful. 하는 것. And again, I'm going to be using the topic particle again because we're going to be contrasting these sentences. When you have contrast in your sentence, it's good to use the topic particle. Okay. 한국어를 공부하는 것은 fun. Fun is 재미있다. So 재미있다 is fun. 재미있지만, once upon a Kiwi, beautiful. That's a really good sentence. Difficult. Now again, we have difficult at the end of the sentence. And because we're going to conjugate it into present tense, the verb irregular verb activates and it becomes 어려워요. 한국어를 공부하는 것은 재미있지만 어려워요. Why not 공부하는 것이? It's a little bit more natural to say 공부하는 것은 because of this 지만. Is this grammar used in speech or only written? That's an excellent question, Simply Chris. This form is used in written language. This is the written form. You can say it in spoken language and everyone will understand you, but it's more natural to say 는 거 or 는 게 or 는 걸 or 는 건. These are the spoken forms. These are the spoken forms of 는 것. Depending on what particle you're using, this is no particle. So if you're just dropping the particle, which is pretty common in speaking, if you're just dropping the particle, it's just 는 거. This actually is the subject particle. I know the subject particle is 이가, but when it's combined with 는 거, it becomes 는 게. And 는 걸 is the object particle. You can see the 릴 on the bottom, that's the object particle. And 는 건, you can probably guess, is the topic particle. So in written form, it would be 는 것, 는 것은, 는 것을, 는 것이. But in spoken, it becomes like this. That's an excellent question. Thank you for that. Hope that answers your question. Thank you for the offer. I appreciate that. I know, it seems like a lot of information. And at some point, it's memorization, I suppose. But you'll see this used a lot. And if you can recognize it, it'll help you notice it when you encounter it out in the real world. Okay, I've seen people also asking about 는 것 versus 기. And for those people who are curious about this, we do actually cover it in our grammar book. In our grammar book, we have a section on 기 and we compare them to each other. They are mostly interchangeable. They have a lot of overlap in their usages. 는 것 is slightly more formal. So 기 is kind of more spoken. More casual, slightly. But, I mean, it's not a huge difference. You can really kind of use either in most cases. The other very slight difference between 는 것 and 기 is that 는 것 is used when you're talking about general truths about things. So if you're saying, you know, a general truth about me is that I like studying Korean, or that, you know, studying Korean is difficult, or swimming is fun, you know, whatever it is, Nungot is typically used, I mean, not necessarily always used, but typically used for things that are generally true for you, whereas gi is a little bit more situational. You can say things with gi that's like, you know, at this point in time, I'm enjoying swimming, but it's not necessarily a general truth about you. So that's a very slight difference. And if you wanted to learn more about that, you can look at our grammar book. Can you do an example with gi? Okay, let me get out my grammar book and we'll go look at that. This is the last thing I'll do in this live stream because it's getting a little bit late, but let's have a look at this before I go. Just have to find it. Is it in chapter? Where is gi? I should probably actually look in. Okay, let me look in the title. Gi 210. Okay, and there is an ebook for these books. They are available in PDF. Here we go. So Nungot versus gi. So the first difference we have here that we kind of talked about is that gi is slightly more casual and used more in spoken language. Second difference is that that gi is used with some fixed grammar forms that can only use gi. There are certain grammar forms that can only use gi and they cannot use nungot. For example, the gi 시작하다 form. This is always gi 시작하다 and not nungot 시작하다. So 한국어를 공부하기 시작했어요 is correct, but 한국어를 공부하는 것을 시작했어요 is strange. It is awkward. Everyone will understand you, obviously, but it's correct to say gi 시작하다 because this is a set grammar form using gi. Same with 기 때문이에요. 내 생일이기 때문이에요. Because it's my birthday. Whereas 내 생일이는 것 때문이에요 is really strange, right? That doesn't work because 는것 is not used with 때문이에요. It's always 기. And then the last difference to compare them is that 기 is used to talk about specific circumstances. For example, 손 잡기가 싫어요. In this instance, I don't want to hold your hand. In this specific circumstance, I don't want to hold your hand versus 손 잡는 것이 싫어요 means in general, a truth about myself is I don't like holding hands. So it's kind of a subtle difference there. And this, when you use gi, you're just saying, I don't want to hold your hand right now. 싫어요. I don't want to. Whereas nungot, you're saying a general truth about yourself is that you don't like holding hands. Similarly, 야채를 먹기를 좋아해요 means I like eating vegetables. At least right now, at this time, I'm enjoying the vegetables. Whereas 야채를 먹는 것을 좋아해요 is a general truth about yourself. In general, a truth about you is that you like to eat vegetables. So, but again, although there's subtle differences, you know, you don't have to stress too much, and they're generally interchangeable in most circumstances. Okay, so that was to answer your question about gi versus nungot. And if you want to learn more about it, there are other resources out there as well, so you can help practice. This book I've now changed into Conversational Korean Grammar. For most of the live stream, we were using this book. I just did a little segue into this one to help answer someone's grammar question. And I'm starting to lose my voice, so I think I'm going to need to wrap up this live stream. For people that were asking about me, I've been learning Korean for about 5 years, but both of these books were written with Chelsea, and Chelsea's been learning Korean for 14 years. And then this book in particular, Eugene helped write, and Eugene's a native Korean speaker, and she basically wrote a big portion of this book, including the conversations and things like that. So, and out of the sort of our company, Goose Apple Books, has 3 people: me, Katerina, Chelsea, and Eugene. And the 3 of us sort of have put these things together for you. Thank you guys so much. How much does it cost? These books in paperback form are about $35, which I know is kind of expensive, but they're like 300 pages and they're printed in color, so the printing cost is really high. If price is more of a factor for you, they are available as PDFs on our website, and they're only $15. So that's like, less than half the price. Especially if you like to have a digital version, you can check out that as well. Thank you guys. I'm really glad you're all here. And thank you so much for joining and for being so supportive. I really love to hear all your positive feedback. And I have a lot of fun doing it, honestly. It's a great time. So, yeah. Thank you, Chris. I know you've already booked this one, so thank you for that as well. When is my next live? I usually do Wednesday evenings, but this Wednesday is my book club, so I probably won't do one this Wednesday. Maybe not another one until next weekend, Saturday or Sunday. Oh wait, but I'm going camping this weekend. Ooh. I'll try to squeeze one in maybe on like Tuesday or Thursday, maybe Thursday. But I'll have to see how busy I am. Thank you. This is super helpful. Thank you. And thank you Once Upon a Kiwi too. I know Once Upon a Kiwi, you come here a lot, so I really appreciate that. It's nice to see you each time. Thank you guys for the likes and the follows. Really appreciate every single one of you. I know I probably couldn't answer everyone's questions because it got kind of busy at certain times. Thank you for your interest in South Korea, or interest in Korean language. Shout out from South Korea. Thank you so much. There is so much love and interest in the Korean language right now, and it's amazing. I support it because it is such a beautiful, wonderful language, and I want to help people experience it and get excited about it. So, yeah, really happy to be here too. Thank you. Okay, I am going to close this out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thank you. 다음에 봐요. See you next time.